Legion Chapter 3 in 1 minute. So this episode is all about, once again, digging into David's past, but then Amy is still being held at the mental hospital. So they try to get her out, and they do more tests on David, and we find out that he can levitate. And then all of a sudden, it's like he was trying to teleport over to the hospital to save his sister, and he can't. And him and Sid just end up in a pool or a river somewhere. So they try to go deeper into David's head, and to stop him from resisting, they pull in the they try to sedate him. And while he's there, they find out that it's very scary inside his head, especially when Melanie tried to read the book, but then the devil with the yellow eyes slammed that fucking book hard down and tried to slam her fingers, and that's the end. Okay. I really enjoyed this episode, but and I really liked, and it's hard, it feels like I have to say this every single week, but it is so hard to review this show, because it's hard to talk about what happened in the episode, because it's a very visual show, where it's all done through visuals instead of a bunch of people talking, like what the CW shows that I review are like. So I like how we're going deeper into David's head. I like that he's starting to expose more powers, like he can levitate. I thought that was pretty damn cool. I also like the increasing bond in the relationship between Sid and David, and it's still very fucked up that no matter what, he can never touch her. So I thought, no pun intended, it was a touching moment when the only way that she could finally hug him was while he was sedated, when her and Paul and Melanie were inside his head. And he was just a kid. That was like the only time that she could reach out and touch him, because her powers don't work there, and when they're in another mutant's head. But anyways, I just want to say this episode ends on what I like to call the fuck you credits. And this term started first with Better Call Saul. And that's when the episode is getting so good, and then it just suddenly ends, and you're like, no, fuck you, credits. I wanted that to keep going. It feels like that's what this episode ended on, where David is still sedated and we don't know what the hell is going to happen, and I did not watch any of the reviews. Any of the previews for next week, because I don't want to do that anymore. But anyways, this episode was fantastic, as this show consistently is. I give this a 9 out of 10. You can, if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe and click the bell so that you don't miss any video of mine. You can also support me on Patreon. I'd appreciate it. Every dollar helps towards bringing better content. And you can also watch the N4G TV podcast on the N4G TV YouTube channel. And you can also follow me on Twitter at GamingGuitarist. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.